Yep, we're back on that desert island again. This has been so much fun asking my friends which albums they would take with them to a desert island. And since we can't travel because of the pandemic, it's kind of fun to pretend. So in this episode, I'm going to talk to Tom Doody, the lead singer for the Cryan Shames, one of my favorite bands, and ask him which albums he would take to that desert island. You want to find out? Okay, let's drop the needle. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see Tom during this episode as he's recuperating from a damaged eye, but still he took the time to share with us his music and his memories and the ones that he would take to that desert island. Now, interestingly enough, Tom, I checked the analytics on YouTube, and the 3 episodes that we did with you are still the highest rated for the channel. So thank you for your memories and your music.
Oh, you know what? It was my pleasure. I'm glad that people still want to hear about that. That's wonderful.
For this episode, I'd like you to think about all of your favorite albums and then pick ones that you would like to take to the island and tell us why.
Well, you know what? That's a great question. I was thinking about it. If we're looking at the Beatles, there's at least 12 of their albums I would take.
Yeah, I had that problem too.
Yeah. Abbey Road, my gosh. Rubber Soul, Revolver, Meet the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, it depends on how melancholy I feel. When I listen to Abbey Road, it just brings back a flood of memories of how much I absolutely loved that group, and this was really their swan song. I know they had another album after that, but this was the album that still reminded me of the way the Beatles were. So,
right.
That definitely.
Okay, for your next album, what are you going to take?
The Byrds were such a significant part of my education. The Everly Brothers. Matter of fact, I would put the Everly Brothers in there with their album that had Kathy's Clown on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those guys, good Lord, could they sing?
Yes.
Just incredible. The Byrds, the first 2 albums, and also the one that had Younger Than Yesterday. I mean, good Lord. The Byrds were such an incredible influence on me. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. These are albums I still listen to all the time. The Beach Boys. Now, I know a lot of people thought that we were very heavily influenced by the Beach Boys. James Fares was. The rest of us were kind of Beatle fans and Byrds fans. But the Beach Boys, when they did All Summer Long, in their earlier thing, I Get Around All Summer Long, those kind of things, the Beach Boys to me were at their zenith then. The earlier Beach Boys I adore, still do. I listened to Little Deuce Coupe, as a matter of fact, just before we got on. It's a great song.
Yeah.
And they had wonderful harmonies, very intuitive. It seems like they would get into the studio and each one of them would grab a part and just be there. They lived in it.
Yeah.
Unusual vocals. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, like I said. Neil Young after the Gold Rush, my God. How does it get any better than that?
One of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah. When you dance, do your senses tingle and take a chance?
That's right.
Yeah, incredible. Another group that a little bit later than them, but that one that I equally loved was Steely Dan.
What's your favorite Steely Dan album?
You know what? They was just going through my mind. The one that has Ricky, Don't Lose That Number, Pretzel Logic.
Right.
The one that has Dr. Wu in it. Then, the one that has My Old School, which was their second album.
Right.
I still do. I think they're just an amazing group. So Steely Dan, we're probably at a total of 20 albums I would take so far, and I'm not done.
Okay.
The Mamas and Papas, I adored them too.
I wondered if you were going to include that. I remember how you stated it before. Yeah.
Oh my God, their first album. Come on. good Lord, do you believe your eyes and ears? I mean, it was a refreshing set of songs that were on there, and they just performed them great. I absolutely loved it. And then there's so many other songs, Chuck Berry, some of his stuff. There's no way I could take 10 albums.
At the time the Cryan Shames were tearing up the Midwest and lots of parts of the country, there was a lot of great music coming out of Chicago. So this may be a little politically incorrect to ask you this, Tom, but if you had to pick one album from the Chicago music that came at that time, who would you pick?
I'd have to be honest with you, and this is not to be politically correct, I really enjoyed all of their stuff, from the Ides of March, the Flock, Jimmy Sands, the Buckinghams, and New Colony 6. There were just so many that were so good. The thing with the people that played in Chicago at that time is that it was a brand new thing for everybody. Nobody was jaded. They were doing the best they could with, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
With what they had. And you could hear their heart and soul in those albums. And to restrict it to one group, no way.
Yep.
No way.
Fair enough. Okay, Tom, as a singer, were you at all influenced by the likes of Tony Bennett and singers from that generation?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when I grew up, good question. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's just, I'm running at the brain right now, so I might as well get it out.
Right.
When I grew up, the people I listened to were Tony Bennett and Andy Williams.
Ah, okay.
That was it. And also some folk groups. I listened. I'm basically a folk singer who sang rock and roll.
Well, that's a lot of albums to be taken to that island. I hope you've got a big shipping container.
Well, I have to. So I'm going to an island. I'll be by myself, and I'll take my closest 2,000 albums with me.
Well, there you go. Always a pleasure, Tom.
Bernie, great seeing you again. I wish, you could see me, but I told you I had,
right.
My eye is kind of messed up. So
we'll do it again in a few months down the road.
Yeah. Thank you much.
Take care of yourself, Tom. And like how I say, keep it rocking. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. And you can also leave me a comment down below, and I'll respond to you. If you subscribe, we'll let you know when future episodes come out. Most of the albums that I talk about can be found at your local vinyl store or on eBay. Individual songs most likely are on Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music, or even some on YouTube.